Hello there. Welcome back to Let's Play Sekiro. We're going to take a little bit of a break from the main story and focus on some side things that we haven't done yet. Here we are going to fight a ghost-type mini-boss. In-game, the term they use is apparition. I just like to call them ghosts. You're going to want Divine Confetti for this. Divine Confetti makes this specific ghost type really easy. Terror Gourd helps too, or Pacifying Agent. This is a Shichimen warrior. Be wary of their projectiles. They're mainly a projectile-style boss. They can fight a bit in melee, and they can use projectiles in melee. And if you jump, you can anti-air death blow them instantly at any health, as long as you have Divine Confetti. Hit them enough with Divine Confetti and it will stun them, and with Divine Confetti, you can parry their beam. Don't try to block most of their other projectiles, it just doesn't work. They're not blockable. However, you can hit them with Divine Confetti on your blade, and that will destroy them. The staff they use, you're able to deflect. They'll use it to block, then disappear, and teleport somewhere else. Kind of like how the Headless fight. Using Divine Confetti really simplifies this fight. You don't have to worry as much about the terror. You can deflect the beam. You can also run around it. Here I use Mist Raven. When you use Mist Raven, you still get the buildup of the ailment that's going to hit you. Otherwise, Shichimen Warrior is pretty easy. They drop the ceremonial Tento. That's like using blood bullets. So this is a look at the helm that the Shichimen Warrior wears. It's kind of similar to Date Shigezane's helm, which has a centipede. But that might just be coincidence, and Date Shigezane would not actually be dead by now. Here is the second head that's on top, and more of the staff. You see this sort of weapon in, I believe, Hindu weaponry for like deities, and like fierce deities maybe? That's what the fire around the blade part reminds me of. Here is a close-up image of the souls they fire. They actually have faces and like wail and scream. Shichimen warriors are kind of made up of multiple bodies. If you get a closer look, there's a lot of different like samurai and ashigaru parts. Now, the arena you fought it in doesn't really have much. There's a few balloons. This area is a little weird. It looks like it used to host a lot of water and dead bodies. Like this is some sort of dumping ground for corpses. Now, I'm going to be talking about Genzai Shichimen. This is a no-play. This is an image of the no play. This is from the Art Institute of Chicago. I'm going to be reading from the No Diaries, published by Diego Pellechia. He is a no scholar and professor. I've read some of his things. He seems to know what he's talking about. I've seen him do stuff related to no plays. He's been interviewed. Here, just to mention, this is a sort of monument to those who died after the rebellion. It seems to be a monument to those that Isshin Ashina killed after taking over. Or Ashina Isshin. At least that's how the English text seems to describe it. The story of Genzai Shichimen is about Nichiren Shonin, who founded a sect of Buddhism, Nichiren sect. He's preaching at Mount Minobu, which is also near Shichimen Mountain. A lot of mountains relate to Sekiro. This is a story about a woman that appears to him while he's teaching the Lotus Sutra, and eventually reveals she is a dragon of Shichimen, waters of the pond. She has powers of lightning and disappears. This play uses a lot of transformation, of shifting between different forms using masks. Some no plays do this. There are some pretty famous ones for this. The Great Serpent mask they have, I couldn't find online a definitive one, so I don't have an image. That's in the Congo collection. This is from the Congo School of No. Also, here we're in Abandoned Dungeon now from that area.
忍びのお方、司祭はお渡しした紙を。余計なことは互いに知らぬがよいと存じます。
By teaching the dragon, it sort of ascends her. She becomes a sort of heavenly figure and woman, and does a Shinto dance and reaches enlightenment and then flies away to the clouds. Again, I'm reading here what I can. It's hard to find stuff on this particular rare no play. Here we are buying the Phantom Kunai. This was Lady Butterflies. But the play does seem to relate to the story of Sekiro, and also views of the corruption of Buddhism and lost from the past, and that relates a lot to Senpo Temple. To get off that for a moment, we'll be going to Ashina Depths. There is some stuff here to discover. Or more so rediscover, really. We're going to be seeing an old friend. You might remember them. Now, last time we were here, there was a shelter with 2 gunners. The enemies in this area have changed. They now have cannons. There's white fur around. The dead animals were here before. There were like rotting dogs, it looks like. These are the Snake Eyes, again, one of the Snake Eye tribes. This is the Ashina Depths version, and as we learned, Sunken Valley is right through a hole over there. We just can't reach it from this side. Jumping up to this part is annoying. Now, there is a sort of way you can have some help here if you find the Snake Eyes and Poison Pools kind of hard. Do Guardianate first. That's the trigger for changing this area and making things more destroyed. It will change the enemies and bring these cannon guys around. They will fire at you and cause explosions. Those explosions do AoE friendly fire. So you can kite the Snake Eyes boss through the explosions, or you can just backstab and puppet them. It's very handy. It's pretty fun. Now, previously I did talk about the goo poison. I'm sorry, I don't speak Mandarin or Cantonese, or I barely speak German. I really only know English, I'm afraid. But I talked about it and how it kind of is created from the 5 poisonous creatures, from snakes and centipedes, scorpions, from toads, and how it eats from the inside out and is like an acid, a dark magic, corrosive, life sapping. Well, that's a little bit concerning. That's one of the... Oh, a friend is back. Well, Not really a friend, per se. More of an acquaintance. That is Guardian Ape. If you remember, he had an immortal centipede, and for some reason the game doesn't let you kill it. You can have the mortal blade at that point. I guess you would miss this boss fight if you could do that. Also, we are standing right next to Guardian Ape's dead wife. This refight kind of sucks. So he leans backwards, shows his head. He looks a little bit different. He's kind of like decayed and rotten. Like more so. Which is a little weird because it's been like an hour. His attacks are mostly the same. They're slightly different in timing. And he'll jump up a bunch, which will be a sweep when he lands. He'll do the overhead slam much more often. In ways, this form of Guardian Ape is easier, or rather, this is Headless Ape. Fight this form the exact same way as you fought him for Phase 2 of Guardian Ape. This one actually has less health. During the start, you can actually kind of nuke him if you have the skill Spiral Cloud Passage. Apply Divine Confetti, run up to him, and do that. You'll get him to half health before he can even attack you, and then it will stun him for a moment. You'll have to deflect like once or twice, and then if you start doing it again, you'll have already gotten past Phase 1 in like 10 seconds. I talked a lot about the story of the apes and their legends. There's not all that much more to go into yet. There will be more later stuff relating to Sun Wukong, because of course this is like again a Japanese video game. It's hard to have some sort of any like Asian media that features myth and legend and not have Sun Wukong. But anyway, now this is Dual Apes. Ape Duo is also what it's called. This is an annoying fight. You have to fight two of them at once. The brown ape has much less health. Their AI is kind of made differently. It's so that most of the time only one will be fighting you. But they like tag in and tag out, and then every now and then they'll both fight you at the same time. You can kind of tell because of the one that's not supposed to fight you will pretty much just run away from you if you get near them. I was showing here Ichimonji Double is really good on the second ape. It doesn't have too much posture, so you can pretty easily posture break it and then get the kill. Now, if you die after killing that ape comes back. That ape fights like Phase 1 Guardian Ape, but doesn't have nearly as many animations or attacks. Once it's dead, this is a really simple fight. You can keep it alive. If you kill Headless Ape, the second ape will also just die. It will like fall over and cry and die. Now, you can use the Centipede pull with the spear. When the Headless Ape falls down, the second ape will jump to land on top. But the spear pull actually gives you some invincibility frames when you're pulling out the Centipede. However, it's not always consistent when it will land, so this is still very risky. Sometimes you'll just take a hit. I don't know what the hell happened there with that animation. But that is Headless Ape. Actually, it's not. We're going to show a little bit more of it. I'm going to fight it just a little bit differently, show off a little bit more. We are in the start of Hidden Forest. Remember, you get here from that Guardian Ape Den. Now, there are going to be some Nightjar Phantoms here. These are ghosts, they are not illusions, so that's why I used the Snapseed at the start, just to show. These are ghosts, they aren't illusions. Snap seeds don't work on this. They're a little bit annoying. They make going to no hit, no damage this fight kind of annoying from this side, but you can just jump past them and grapple up. It's not too bad. Just every now and then you'll take like a stray shuriken throw. So if you come from this side, you actually have more opportunities to hit the ape before he'll start the fight. Once you drop down, he'll start to turn over, but you can just immediately begin hitting him. Now, like Guardian Ape, fire is good, the burn is decent. Poison won't work on this boss. Flat out, you can't poison this boss. I tried with the most upgraded form of Sabimaru, using Tanto to get temporary emblems up to 35 in total, including temporary and normal. And I could not poison this boss. Now, I wanted to show a little bit of the other options for this fight. Mortal Draw is really powerful here. I prefer to use it on the second ape. Since it has less health, you'll be able to more easily kill it. Here I use the Tanto and show it off. You get 5 temporary emblems per use. You can use it 3 times. It's like blood bullets. Firecrackers work on second ape. They're pretty good as well. Now you can again still use combat arts even without the emblems to do so. It'll just be weaker. Mortal Draw, I think, has shorter range also without it. There is Empowered Mortal Draw in the Mushin tree, an upgraded form that will deal massive amounts of damage to both of these bosses. Now, when you kill them, you get 2 prayer beads and the memory for this boss. It's pretty nice. You'll probably get a new prayer necklace and health bar. Now, an interesting thing about the centipedes. This boss kind of lets us see better what the centipede is like within their body. And I have not seen people notice this. There is another boss that allows this. Other centipedes seem to disappear when you kill the enemy that they are like hosted by. This one and another boss though, the centipede stays behind. If you leave the area and come back, the centipede will be gone though. Now, you can leave Headless Ape like this. He'll stay there until you go to deathblow him with the Mortal Blade. This is more about Guardian Ape and how he wanted a mate, wanted a bride. There's a lot of bridal stuff in Sekiro with the serpents and Ashina Deaths. Looking up more closely at his sword and the centipede. Getting a better look at the weird sort of fungus or bones around his neck, his long nails, the notches in the blade, this very large weapon that may have belonged to the sculptor. His mouth is really fucked up, and his face is too. And there's his butt. Enjoy. Here is the viscera of the head. Something I actually wanted to show with that is something we're going to see on the centipede. Let's take a look at that before we deathblow him. Here we go. Now we're going to kill the centipede. We're going to rip it out of him. I want you to note, we cut the centipede a little bit beneath the head and stabbed it. But much more of it came out. We pulled out the whole centipede. Something a little weird. We also got Bestowal Ninjutsu. That's a buff you get from killing enemies from stealth. But it looks like it was connected to the spinal cord. That's not a cut. That is something that is in these centipedes. The other boss is the same. It's dead and coiled up like a centipede, but it looks like it is attached at the spine or something like that. Like it is physically attached in the body. It's not a free-roaming centipede. That looks like it is attached at the spinal cord and is even partially making the spinal cord. This is something I find really interesting and wonder more about. Now, centipedes in the others are not like located directly at the spine. We don't get to see the direct location inside the body unlike we do for Guardian Ape here. But I find that kind of interesting and want to look into it more. So if you leave this area and come back, it will change yet again, which is fun. We'll see yet another refight now. That's right, Guardian Ape 3. Also, this guy's dialogue is the exact same. I decided to just check. The ape killed him. So let's fight. Oh no, it's a Shichimen warrior instead. This is going to be same as the last time. Like, exactly the same. There is actually 3 of this boss in the game. The third one's a little bit different, but not much. And again, the story of Shichimen Genzai and its relation to Mount Congo. This one, though, has a special drop, and it's a really useful one. Now, be wary about running around. Sprinting to the side to get past that beam only works if you're further away. It doesn't work at point-blank range. He'll spin and hit you. But, like I said, you can deflect it with Divine Confetti. I'm surprised it doesn't, like, count as a continuous beam, but eh. Now, if you remember, we got the slender finger from within the belly of the first Guardian Ape. Second one, we got prayer beads and bestowal. Bestowal says that it comes from the first time Wolf killed an immortal, but it only drops from this immortal. Other immortals don't drop it, so I think that's just an error in the description. This boss is going to drop Malcontent. We have the finger of Kingfisher. Malcontent is the ring that she wore. That is very useful, and I wish we could have gotten it earlier. What it does is it's a whistle that when you blow it, it stuns ghosts. For most enemies, you can use it 3 times. After the 3rd time, it won't really work anymore. Also, right there, I spun around Shichimen Warrior. It didn't really work. I still got hit by the beam. But, see, now we have Malcontent's ring. This is a ring relating to Kingfisher. She wore it and would play it, and it would calm down the sculptor, Sekijo. But it seems to enrage animals, and there was a sort of eeriness to it when she would blow into it and play it. But that is it for this episode. I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little odd. I'm very tired. I just kind of wanted to get stuff done. I didn't want to sleep and then forget. So I might re-record over this. And if I do, you won't hear this. But I will be seeing you next time. Bye-bye.